Hey everyone, in this lesson, we're going to be learning about some simple steps you can take to make sure your work sounds clear, balanced, and professional. Gain, keyframes, level standards, spanning the cut, it's all coming at you in this lesson. So let's get started making some magic below the line. All right, my friends, welcome to another video lesson. In this lesson, we're going to be discussing basic audio mixing, and in particular, the use of gain and keyframes. And we're going to be using the montage project here to do that. So let's take a look at what I've got going on here. You can see, of course, I have my video tracks up top, V1, 2, and 3. And then there's a line that divides the video tracks from the audio tracks down here below, A1, 2, 3, and 4. And I've got my music on the first track. I've got 2 tracks of natural sound here on the next 2 levels, and then I've got 1 blank track where I could add sound effects in the future. And I'd like to draw your attention to the fact that I have labeled my audio tracks. I've got MX1 for the music, Nat 1 and 2 for the natural sound, and then SFX for that sound effects track. Now normally they'll say audio 1, 2, 3, and so on by default. To change them, you just right click, choose rename, and type what you'd like to be there. In this case, MX space 1. Enter, and there we go. Now, if you'd like to add an audio track, let's say I had a second music track I wanted to stick in here. I'd right click on MX1, choose add track, and boom, it places another one in between the music track and the nat sound track here. And you can see by default, audio 2. I'd right click, choose rename, MX space 2. Now I don't need that, so I'm going to right click and choose delete track, and it's gone. So I'd like you guys to do the same. Please label your audio tracks according to the type of track it is, and then put the stuff where it goes. Put your music on your MX tracks, your nat sound on your natural sound tracks, and your sound effects on your SFX tracks. Okay? Cool. So we're going to go to work on mixing our music here first because it's the strongest, loudest, most dominant force in the timeline. So we want to approach that first. So in order to do that, I'm going to expand my music track here by rolling between MX1 and Nat1 until I get this double arrow. Click, hold, and pull down, and that expands the track. It's easier for me to see the waveform, making my mixing easier to do. So I'd like to hear just the music and nothing else. So I'm going to solo that track by hitting the solo button here. And let's play through and see what we've got. So just these pulses at the beginning, you can see are pretty strong on the meters. They were peaking at like -2, -3. Let's hear what happens when the song actually kicks in here. Wow. Peaked out. It actually went above 0 and peaked the meter here. And then there's an even stronger part of the song later on. Let's see what happens there. Oh my gosh. It peaked out on both sides. So we're going to have to control this. We're going to have to bring this down because it's just too strong. You can see how strong the waveform is on each of the 2 channels that make up the stereo track here. The top one is the left, you can see with the L here, and the bottom one is the right, you can see with the R. Those are 2 channels within this one music track. And the closer the waveform gets to the top of each channel here, the more likely it is to peak the meters like this. So there are a couple of different ways to bring down the strength. Number 1, I could reduce the level bar. Grab this, pull it down, and you can see it reduces the level. This is -8 right now. So if I bring the playhead back, play forward, you can see the meters will read lower. That's one way to do it. There's another way, a cooler way, and that is to reduce the signal strength of the waveform itself with the gain function. And that's how I'd like you guys to approach this. Gain first, then level. So we're going to select both pieces of our music track because I made an edit here earlier. I'm going to hit the G key to launch the gain tool. You can see that launches this audio gain window up here. And we want to make sure the adjust gain by function is selected. And we're going to type -12 in here. Hit OK. And watch what happens to the waveform when I do that. You can see it's reduced in strength significantly. Now, why did I reduce it by -12? This is where we're going to talk about level standards. At this point in the course, I'd like you to be mixing the loudest parts of the strongest elements in your mix to around -12. So because before reducing the level here, we were peaking at essentially 0, I reduced it by -12 to get it into this range. So now if I play in the strongest part here, you'll see what happens. Boom, right there at -12. Let's try this part here. Yeah, that's great. That's what we're looking for. It's okay if it's a little bit over, a little bit under. We're looking for it in this range here. And obviously, there are going to be naturally weaker parts of the song where it's considerably lower than that, but that's okay. We're just looking for the strongest parts to live in that -12 range. Now, later on in the course, when we start dealing with dialogue, the spoken word, we're going to use a bit higher level for that element. We'll go around -9 for that. But in this case, where we're not using dialogue, we're going to stick with that -12 standard. Okay, so let's pull the playhead back and play from the beginning here. See what we've got there. Considerably weaker. -16. Yeah. So these introductory pulses here, where the song is inherently weaker, are reading much lower on the meters. So how am I going to fix this? What am I going to do? Well, I'm going to use what are called keyframes. They are a way to tell Premiere what value you would like at a particular point in time. And you can use them on audio, video, effects. Anything that has a controllable value can be keyframed so that you can change that value in a controlled way over time. So to begin with, I'm going to drag my audio track down just a bit more to make it a little bit easier to see what's going on here. Zoom in a bit. And what I'm looking for is the song to remain at its current level at this point where it kicks into the stronger part. But I need it to be louder here at these weaker points. So I'm going to use keyframes to accomplish that. So in order to place keyframes, I'm going to use the pen tool. And I can grab it from my tools palette here. If I roll over this icon here, you can see it says pen tool with a keyboard shortcut of P. I'm going to use that keyboard shortcut. And when I do, you can see my selection tool changes to the pen tool here. So I want to keep the song at that current level here at this stronger point where it kicks in. So I'm going to place my first keyframe there to say, keep the song at that level at that point. And I'm going to place another keyframe here where I want it to be stronger. I'm going to click right here, and you can see I've placed one there too. Now, I'm going to go back to the selection tool, and I can raise or lower this keyframe by just grabbing, clicking, holding, and dragging up or down. That's one way to do it. And of course, there is another cooler way to do that with a keyboard shortcut, of course. Using the right and left bracket keys, I can raise and lower this keyframe by 1 dB at a time, 1 decibel. That is 1 unit of audio loudness at a time. So if I hit the left bracket key, I can drop it by 1 dB, 2, 3, 4. Using the right bracket key, I can raise it by 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to bring this up by, let's try 4. Zoom out a bit, play through, and see what we've got. Nice. That looks good. -12. Slightly over, but that's okay. Yeah, I'm liking this. That's really nice. Okay, so let's play forward from the stronger portion of the song here. I think I might raise this by 1 dB. Seems just a little bit weak. Really nice. Okay, so let's go to the stronger portion here, see what's going on there. Okay, that is stronger, so I'm actually going to bring that down a bit too. Let's use another keyframe ramp here. Now you can see in the previous one, I did this over time, and we're talking about 2-3 seconds, something like that. If I bring the playhead back here, the first one's at about 12.5 seconds, the second one's at almost 16, so about 3.5 seconds. I'm going to do the same thing here, so it doesn't change suddenly. So again, P for the pen tool, and I'm going to place a keyframe here where I want the song to be lower, and then another one around here, 2 to 3 seconds back, where I want it to maintain the level. And then back to my selection tool, select my keyframe that I want to drop, and I'm going to hit the left bracket to bring it down. Let's try 1 dB and see what that does. Really nice. That works really well. All right, so let's head over to the end portion of the song and see what we've got going on there. Pretty strong. So I think I'm going to bring this down a little bit too. So because I have no keyframes on this level bar, if I select the clip and use my left bracket key, I can actually drop the level bar as a whole across the whole clip. Boom. I'm going to try, let's try 2 dB and see what that does. Bring that back to the beginning here. -12. Nice. That's really nice. I like that a lot. That totally works. So now let's play from this portion of the song into the end and see if they work together. Beautiful. Okay, so you can see what we did here was mix the music portion of our montage project by utilizing both the gain function and keyframes to achieve a nice, even, balanced level across the length of the song. First, we dropped the level of the entire song with the gain function, and then used keyframes to raise and lower the portions that needed to be adjusted to achieve that balanced mix. We raised the pulses here at the beginning because they were a little weak, and then did another small ramp here at the very strong part of the song, and then dropped the end pulses overall across the entire clip because they were all strong together. And that about does it for this portion of Basic Audio Mixing, my friends. I'll see you for the next one.